Hey folks, how you doing? Dave McRae here. Okay, in this video, I want to talk about the news that dropped today. Now, I'm shooting this video quite late. It's 10:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on August the 8th, 2018. So by the time you're watching this, it might be the next day. So I could be talking about news that was yesterday to you, but today to me. Anyway, so news dropped today from the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. In regards to the Academy Awards, the Oscars, the award show that's held each and every year at the end of February, beginning of March. It's usually in and around that time. And they want to implement three major changes to the award show. And two of the three changes, I'm like, yeah, I understand why you would want to do that. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with at least trying it. Let's try it out, right? You know, maybe it's going to be some trial and error, but we got to try it out. The Academy seems to be in this perpetual state of trying to save the Oscars because the Oscars, the award show, is far too long and viewership is consistently down year after year. I mean, this past year, 2018, the viewership was down 20%. 20% from the previous year in 2017. So I get it. They've got to do something. And as I said, two of the three things they want to do, I'm okay with. I'm like, yeah, let's give it a shot. The third thing they want to do, I thought to myself, why the fuck would you want to do that? Now, that's a rhetorical question because I know why they want to do it, but it doesn't change the fact that I thought to myself, why the fuck would you want to do that? And as soon as I tell you what it is in a few moments, because we're going to go through the three things, anybody that has any sense about the motion picture industry, the entertainment industry, movies, is going to go, well, yeah, I understand why they want to do that. Anyway, here are the three things in no particular order. Okay, number one, they want to really make sure that this broadcast is only 3 hours. Now, I would imagine maybe if it's less than 3 hours, okay, great. But they don't want to go past 3 hours. Now, how they're going to handle the logistics of all that, we don't know yet. But definitely they want to be strict and they want to abide by a 3-hour broadcast. Now, personally, I think the Oscars should be 2 hours long. I think you could make the Oscars 2 hours long. But yeah, I get it. Okay, perfect. The second thing they want to do is they want to remove some of the lesser interested in categories, if I could say that, from the general movie-going audience. They still want to give out those awards at the ceremony, but they want to give them out during the commercial break. Listen, the vast majority of the general movie-going audience is not tuning in to see best animated short, best short documentary film, best foreign language film, best foreign language documentary. Like, you know what I mean? Nobody's tuning in for that. Now, those who are involved in those movies and their friends and family, of course, absolutely, 100%, right? And maybe if you have some sort of invested interest, like you saw it, you really liked it, and you're rooting for it, of course. But generally speaking, the vast majority of people are tuning into the Academy Awards, and it's always been this way, to see the big awards given out. And what are those awards? Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor, Best Supporting Actress, maybe Best Cinematography, and then maybe music and visual effects and whatever, okay? You could make an argument that there are 10 categories that the general movie-going audience could care about, but you could make a better argument and say there's probably only about 5 to 7 that people probably do care about. So they want to take some of those lesser categories that eat up a lot of on-screen time and move them to the commercial breaks. Now, this isn't the first time that this has been done at award shows. This might be the first time this has been done at the Oscars, but this certainly isn't unprecedented, okay? I'm all for that. I get it. This is not personal, it's business, and I understand that. Now, if I was nominated for Best Animated Short or Best Foreign Language Film or, whatever the case is, Yeah, you could look at the other side of the coin and think, well, that's kind of rude. That's kind of tacky. Here I tell all my friends and family, I get really excited. I get spiffed up. I go to the Academy Awards, arguably the Super Bowl, the World Series, the Stanley Cup, the NBA final of major motion pictures, right? The highest level of recognition at the highest level of motion pictures in the world. And I get nominated for an Oscar. I go to the show, and while I'm accepting my Oscar, each and every one of my family and friends at home is watching Oil Volley twice a day. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, what the hell, right? They're watching some Toyota ad or whatever the case is. So you could look at the other side of the coin and be like, I can understand how these people would be pissed. Now, granted, they're going to get a heads up of this. Obviously, we're going to know about this. So if they're nominated for Best Animated Short or whatever the case is, they're probably going to find out and know that, okay, well, if I do win, and while I'm accepting my award and giving my speech, nobody's going to be watching me. Now, you might be able to watch it later on YouTube. Maybe they will record it. Okay, so they can upload it to YouTube at a different time. They might do that. But in terms of watching some of these lesser interested categories live while the actual show is on, it's not going to happen. You'll be watching Oil Volley twice a day while Jimmy Johnson is accepting his Oscar for Best Foreign Language Film. And I understand it. And if I was Jimmy Johnson, I can understand how that would make me feel like shit. But this isn't personal. This is business, because the vast majority of people, Jimmy, are not tuning in to see you win. So it's not personal. It's just, this is business. I get it. And by removing, or at least allocating, some of the lesser interested awards to the commercial breaks, and Lord knows there's a lot of them, then that will help speed up the award show when it's on, and also keep people's interest who are watching, because then you're more likely to tune in and not tune out if every time they're presenting an award, it's something of relative interest, right? To the general movie-going audience. Something more Hollywood. So I understand that. So I'm okay with it. Okay, let's try it. If it doesn't work, well, we can always go back. Okay. The third thing they want to do, which I sat there and I thought, why the fuck would you want to do this? Which again is a rhetorical question, is this. Let me read this to you. Now, this is from CNN Entertainment. This was just the first thing that came up, but this information is in the Hollywood Reporter, and all over the place. This is just the first link that came up, so I clicked on it. This is what it says. Get this. I'll read it to you. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences is making room for the year's biggest blockbusters to enter the Oscar race. Okay. On Wednesday, the organization announced a number of impending changes to the Oscars, including its intention to add a new category for achievement in popular film. The details regarding eligibility in this category have not been announced, and the Academy did not say when the change would take effect. But the new award's purpose is clear. Make sure the box office's biggest moneymakers have a chance to walk away with Oscars gold. There have been instances in the past where this has already happened, of course. Films like Titanic, The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, and Forrest Gump ruled the box office in their respective years and also earned Best Picture awards. But recent years have seen some of the year's top-grossing films either earn awards solely in technical categories or get shut out of the Oscars completely. One of the few exceptions to this was American Sniper, which grossed $350 million domestically and earned a Best Picture nomination. However, last year's Best Picture winner, 2018, The Shape of Water, earned just $63 million domestically and topped out at number 10 in the box office rankings during its time in theaters, according to figures from Box Office Mojo. So let me get this straight. you want to give an award. You want to give out an Oscar for achievement in popular film? Like being popular is an achievement? When the foundation and whole point of the award show is to give recognition based on merit, based on technical skills, based on understanding the filmmaking process and artistic achievement? You want to now give an award for something that's popular? Now, why are they doing this? Well, we know why. Because the ratings suck. Because the ratings are down. They want to start nominating these big bona fide blockbusters to get you watching. So if Black Panther was nominated, if Logan was nominated, if Avengers was not, you'd be watching. Don't let them fool your fucking ass. They don't give a shit about you. This isn't a real Oscar. It's not a real achievement. It's not an achievement because you have no control over how well a movie does at the box office. When you have control over the stylistic execution of a movie from a directing and writing and cinematography standpoint. You have control over that. The director has control over his actors. At least he should. You as an actor have control over your performance, what you put in, what you don't put in. The cinematographer works closely with the director, right? And they work together to figure out, how we're going to shoot this, how that's going to look, how we're going to light this. What do you want? Let's do this. There's integrity there from an artistic perspective. So when a movie wins an Academy Award for Best Cinematography, it's because it's the best cinematography. Now, one could make the argument and say, well, yeah, but sometimes movies, who you think should win this didn't win that. I understand that. Look, the Academy Awards are not void of politics. They're not void of biases. I get it. I understand that. But the foundation is supposed to be about artistic merit and integrity, the best of the best, as chosen by those in the Academy. That doesn't mean there's not biases, and if somebody has a friend who's got a movie in there, even though it might not be the best one, they might vote for it. Of course it's going to happen. But you know what I'm trying to say? You introduce a popularity contest category. You're basically saying, well, we might as well just own it. And maybe you guys will like that. But the Academy Awards mean nothing. They mean nothing. Pretend this is an Oscar. This is supposed to be the Vincent Lombardi Trophy, the Vince Lombardi Trophy of movies, okay? You give this to the best, or the one who wins the game, right? Now what you're saying is that we're going to take this Vince Lombardi Trophy, we're still going to give it to the best, the one who wins the game, but we're also going to take this and we're going to give it to the team that sells out the most games, and the team that sells the most jerseys, and the team that sells the most hot dogs, and the team that sells the most popcorn, and the team that... Are you fucking kidding me? It's the same trophy. It devalues that other trophy. Movies that make a lot of money at the box office, nobody has control over. The director doesn't, the writer doesn't, the cinematographer doesn't, the producer doesn't, the studios don't. They can do the best they can to steer the marketing in certain, directions that give them the best probability of success. And usually, if it's a bona fide proven property, you're going to make big money opening weekend for sure. But at the end of the day, they have no success over how much a movie is going to make. That's why you shouldn't be awarded for that. I'm accepting an award for something I have no fucking control over. I made a movie that was... Why don't you give it to all the fans that went to see the fucking movie? Because they're responsible for it being huge. This is ridiculous. This is utterly ridiculous. Now, maybe when the logistics are, flushed out, maybe I'll feel better about it. But as of right now, no, I don't. I think it's a fucking shit show is what it is. And like I said, we know the Oscars has politics. We know the Oscars has biases. Sure, we know that. But this is just them not hiding it anymore. This is ridiculous. You should never, ever, at the highest level of achievement in said industry, have a category devoted to popularity. Never. Never. They're not mutually exclusive to each other. Having a movie that makes shitloads of money at the box office doesn't mean it's a good movie. It doesn't even mean it's a good movie stylistically. It doesn't mean it's a good directed movie. It doesn't mean it's a good written movie. It doesn't mean it's a good shot movie. It doesn't mean it was edited well. It means none of those things, because none of those things are mutually exclusive to box office success. In an ideal world, you'd like it to mean that. You'd like box office money to automatically equal quality, but it doesn't. That's what the Academy Awards are supposed to be about. Yes, politics can seep in there. Yes, biases can seep in there. Of course, that's never going to change. But at the end of the day, it's supposed to be about the artistic merit and hard work in world-class filmmaking. That's what it's supposed to be about. And now you're introducing a popularity contest where it's quite feasible you could have 4 or 5 movies that are garbage films, but were really popular because they made a lot of money at the box office. Box office results do not equal quality. Just because a movie makes a lot of money doesn't mean it was a good movie. It just means a lot of people went to see it. If you want to start figuring out whether or not these box office receipts for this particular movie, means quality, means that it was a good movie, the question does not become how much money did the movie make. The question then becomes, of those people that went to see it, how many liked it? Because you can't get your money back if you didn't like the movie. Nor am I suggesting you should get your money back. You shouldn't. Because this is, there's no guarantee you're going to like the movie. This is all subjective art here at the end of the day. So no, you shouldn't get your money back. But that's really the only way that you could then figure it out. If it worked where a movie grosses 80 million in a weekend, but 30 million had to be given back because, a lot of people didn't like it. So now that 80 million becomes 50 million, okay, well then you can kind of figure it out. But that doesn't happen. Bad movies make shitloads of money all the time. So it's not unprecedented to think that if this becomes a regular thing, that this popularity contest, or this popularity achievement category could feasibly have 4 or 5 bad movies. What does that mean? That devalues the Oscar, because that's not it's not a popularity contest. That's not what it's about. That's why you can have a director and a writer and a producer and a cinematographer and a studio put their heart and soul into a project, giving the movie and the project the best probability of bona fide success that they feel, release it to the world, and it doesn't do anything, doesn't resonate with anybody. Happens all the time. So if you give out an Oscar for popularity, you're devaluing all the hard work that went into all these other movies that do deserve it. It's a fucking shit show. It's a joke. The Oscars have been a joke for a long time, but this is a fucking joke. You don't give out popularity contests. Grow the hell up. Suck it up. Figure out another way. Listen, the reason why, people are not tuning into the Oscars is not just because of politics. It's not just because of maybe certain biases. It's not just because, the movies are not really interesting to some people. It's because the entertainment landscape has changed. 25 or 30 years ago, you had to watch the Academy Awards on television in order to figure out and see who won. And if you couldn't watch it for whatever reason, you'd have to ask a friend who did, or you'd have to wait till the next day to tune into the news, or, read it in the newspaper. Now, in 2018, with Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and Instagram, as soon as somebody wins, it's available. And if, the person in question who wins happens to be, young enough and hip and current with the, the social media platforms, God, they're taking pictures of themselves with the Oscars in their hands, and posting it on their Twitter and Instagram, within minutes or seconds after they've won. Nobody needs to watch the Oscars anymore, especially if you're, in your teens or your early 20s. Those kids aren't watching it. They don't care. They don't have to. They don't have to. This is not how you get people on board. You don't devalue the integrity of the program, what integrity it has left, by introducing a popularity contest, which is nothing more than trying to get more eyeballs onto the show. So you're even devaluing your own category that you're creating because it's a farce. It's a load of shit. It's a fucking shit show. Figure out another way. Anyways, folks, my name's Dave McRae. Comment below and let me know your thoughts. If you want to follow me on Facebook, you can at facebook.com/manythingsdavemcrae. That's where you can follow me in the meantime and in between time when I'm not posting here. That's where I tend to post. If you want to help support the channel each and every month via Patreon, you can. That link is in the description as well. I gotta get out of here. Fucking ridiculous. I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers.